Back in Atlanta, moments away from the Cardinals and the Falcons. Before we get started, we head down to the field and welcome in Sarah Walsh. Sarah.
Hey, thanks, Kenny. You know, every week coaches grade every play, but Dan Quinn did something for the first time this season. He had the Falcons players grade themselves. He said players know when they should have made a play, and he wanted them to feel their own heat. The Falcons believe their record was because of self-inflicted wounds, and according to Quinn, those mistakes are a product of losing focus in particular plays, even for the smallest amount of time. He said the fight is right, the focus can still get right. Kenny?
Thanks, Sarah. Falcons have lost 5 straight. First-year head coach Steve Wilkes and the Arizona Cardinals 3-10 beat San Francisco twice and Green Bay 2 weeks ago. Cardinals won the toss, elected to defer. Marvin Hall is back deep for the Falcons. Zane Gonzalez will get things started. Final home game of the season for the Falcons. We are underway in Atlanta as Matt Ryan will lead the offense out. They will start from their 25-yard line.
And Kenny, when you look at Matt Ryan's season, the numbers will jump out at you. 70% completion, and the yardage are there. I think he would take all of that for some wins and some points. You know, he hadn't had a lot of help in the run game this year. A lot of it's been on his shoulders, on Julio's shoulders. But they got to find a way, Kenny, to finish this season strong. I know you always talk about playing for 2019. We're not quite there yet with this football team. They got to find a way to win, get off this 5-game losing streak, and it'll be on the arm of Matt Ryan, as always.
Falcons started the season 1-4, won their next 3, and now have lost 5 straight. First pass intended for Julio Jones. Rondé, you talked about the matchup with Patrick Peterson.
Well, I think when you talk to Patrick Peterson, he relishes these opportunities to go against the studs of the league. And I can't find a better corner on film than Patrick Peterson, the way he wins at the line of scrimmage. And there was times in the past couple of years, where I thought he was really technique deficient. I've seen him in the past 2 years turn into one of the most technique sound corners in football. Good example of it there to start this football game.
Second and 10 from the 25-yard line. Ryan throws far side. Catch is made by Calvin Ridley with David Amerson defending. Gain of 9.
Look at this Falcons offense. I know we talk Julio, we talk this receiving group, but I always keep an eye on Austin Hooper, especially today, the way he's played the past couple of weeks.
Ryan on the sneak picks up the Falcons' first down.
Kenny, on the other side of the ball, this has not been a great unit. They were number 7 last season. They're falling all the way to 29th, but they have some players, and you're going to see some guys rotate in. The one guy who I'm enamored with almost is Budda Baker. The position he played is very similar to one I played, but he takes it to another level. He's kind of like a Sam linebacker, nickel safety all in one, and he'll take any matchup that comes his way.
He made the Pro Bowl as a rookie last season on special teams, now doing a terrific job at safety for the Cardinals. Ryan looking to throw on first down, wrapped up, and down he goes. Back at the 31-yard line, Marcus Golden with the sack of Matt Ryan.
And Marcus Golden has not had the production that you would expect from his quality. 2 years ago, he was leading this team in sacks, and he just hasn't been able to get to the quarterback. Here, he just finds an easy access to Matt Ryan. Nobody blocks him. Big sack to start this game.
Right, 12.5 sacks 2 seasons ago, 3rd in the league. Suffered a torn ACL early in the season last year.
And it's been a tough return to form, really, for him, but we know he has the ability.
Loss of 5. Empty backfield. Tevin Coleman split out to the right. Second down at 15. Ryan's pass is caught, and then turning upfield for some extra yardage is Calvin Ridley, the rookie out of Alabama. His second reception. 3rd and long coming up for the Falcons.
And Kenny, sorry, I think it's important to get Calvin Ridley going. Like, when I put this Atlanta Falcons film, and I expected to see those explosive plays that we were getting out of Calvin Ridley to start the season. He's been non-existent here for the past couple of games. I think there's a concerted effort to get him going. We obviously know what that matchup is on the other side with Patrick Peterson. I don't know if they're going to take a lot of shots over there.
On 3rd and 11, Ryan throws, and the Falcons pick up a first down. It's Mohamed Mohamed Sanu across midfield into Cardinals territory. There is a flag, and David Amerson shaken up.
Illegal shift, offense, number 26, 5-yard penalty, replay third down.
That's on Coleman, so it erases the 16-yard completion.
There's Amerson with the hit. You see his helmet goes into the shoulder pad of Mohamed Sanu. He's up off and walking off the field, but you know they've had a revolving door at this other corner. You know, Bené Benwickery was there a couple of weeks ago. They cut him. David Amerson came in and played that game, and trying to identify guys to play that opposite of Patrick Peterson. It'd be interesting to see who they bring out here. It looks like Brandon Williams, 26, is going to come in and play corner, and he hasn't had many snaps at all out there.
He's matched up with Marvin Hall. Third down and 16 following the penalty. Ryan throws, and it's broken up. That's Brandon Williams, who you just mentioned, came in to replace David Amerson. Williams makes the play, forcing the Falcons to punt.
He's been basically relegated to special teams duties down here. But when you have to play, comes in. He's got a great athletic build to him and ability, but he never played corner. He was a running back in college, so he hasn't really taken that corner role that I think everybody expected when he got here. That was a nice play there on that pass breakup.
So Matt Bosher will punt it away. Patrick Peterson is back deep. 4 career touchdowns on punt returns, all during his rookie season back in 2011. Peterson takes it out to 30. There is a flag. Peterson across midfield, and finally tackled, knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line of the Falcons, but we will check once again with referee Sean Smith.
And this might be it right here, Kenny. Rudy Ford just got a handful of jersey right there. And
During the return, holding, receiving team number 30. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Arizona keeps the ball, first down, timeout.
When we return, our first look at Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals offense. Good starting field position for Josh Rosen and the Cardinals. The rookie out of UCLA makes his 11th start. Would have been even better if not for the penalty on the return. First and 10 from the 36-yard line. David Johnson in the backfield, and Larry Fitzgerald with his first catch of the game on the first play from scrimmage for Arizona. Gains 8 out to the 44. Now as we check out the Cardinals offense.
well, when you talk about this offense, you can't mention this offensive line without saying Mason Cole, who started every single game this year. His starts combined are more than any other player on that offensive line. The turmoil and the moshed up kind of collection of guys they've had there has been a big reason why this football team has struggled offensively.
Rookie out of Michigan, he has not missed a snap all season. David Johnson picks up a first down. Knocked out of bounds at the 48-yard line as we check out the 26th ranked Falcons defense.
Yeah, and this has been a disappointment as well on this side of the ball for Atlanta's defense. But getting Deion Jones back in the middle, I think, is a huge boost. He had a really explosive return, 2 weeks ago when he came back from that foot injury. Just keep an eye on him, because I like the way he plays sideline to sideline. He can hit downhill. They need a leader on this unit, and he has got to be the guy, if you're asking me.
Third game back. Number 27, Devontae Casey, 6 interceptions, 3rd in the NFL. New set of downs for the Cardinals as Rosen fires downfield, and it's caught by Johnson. David Johnson down the right sideline with a first down and more.
Oh, here's Deion Jones trying to cover David Johnson. He's right here, and you're going to see a little pick right here. And Deion Jones tries to go underneath it, and David Johnson's just got too much speed. This is an area where Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, I know wanted to open up this offense. Get David Johnson away from the core, because 2 years ago when he was going for 1,000 rushing and receiving, you saw so much more of that. And it's good to see that they're trying to implement that back into this offense.
He picked up 40 yards. That's his longest reception of the season. Chase Edmonds in the backfield, 3 tight ends for the Cardinals. First and 10 from the 12. There is a flag off the play fake. Rosen Throws it into the ground. The officials get together, and once again, here's Sean Smith.
Kenny, Josh Rosen got up holding his foot there and still hasn't gotten comfortable.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men in motion prior to the sack without resetting. That penalty's declined, 2nd down.
So we'll keep our eyes on the foot of Josh Rosen. Penalty is declined.
Just watch as he goes to the ground. Just everything gets rolled up underneath those 2 bodies, and he's in some discomfort there. Keep an eye on that.
2nd and 10, the handoff, Edmonds. Chase Edmonds, the rookie out of Fordham. Brady Jarrett comes up to make the tackle, along with Deion Jones.
Well, Chase Edmonds in the game. We were talking to Steve Wilkes yesterday. He's like, look, when Chase Edmonds is in the game, there's a good chance we're going to have 8 rookies on the field. And I've played on a lot of teams, not many, where you see 8 rookies having to play on one side of the football. And so if you're looking for those reasons and continuity not being there for this offense, that's a huge reason why.
There's one of the rookie receivers. The other, you have 3 rookies along the offensive line. Rookie quarterback. Johnson back in. 3rd down and 10. Another flag, and this play is blown dead. False start.
False start, offense, number 16. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That's the rookie out of Vanderbilt, Trent Sherfield. Forcing the Cardinals back 5 yards.
Trent Sherfield had a pretty good preseason for this football team, and it's good that he's getting an opportunity to play. When I was talking to Byron Leftwich, he's like, look, we got nothing else, but this guy has shown us something. And to get them opportunity games at the end of the season, it's huge for him. Boost going into his future of his career.
3rd down and 15. Rosen over the middle. It's Johnson, and David Johnson will pick up a 1st down on 3rd and 15. New set of downs for the Cardinals.
Well, young quarterbacks, Kenny, sometimes always want to push the ball down the field, but when you get a defense that's going to retreat this much, look how much room those underneath guys for the Falcons are giving the check down. Just get the ball in the hands of somebody quickly. David Johnson able to pick up a 1st down.
On 1st and goal, Johnson takes it in for an Arizona Cardinals touchdown.
Well, that's more like the David Johnson that we're all used to there, making an impact in the passing game, being an effective inside-outside runner. And we'll take a look here and see if his knee is down, but I like the directness of this play call. David Johnson hasn't had nearly the year that you would expect, and to me, I think he's short. Robert Trufant landed on it, pulled his legs down, and I don't think that ball was over the goal line, Kenny. Look at the leg right there where that ball is short.
Well, all scoring plays are reviewed. It was ruled a touchdown on the field.
The previous play of touchdown is under review.
I think it's pretty clear right there. Knee down, ball short of the line to gain. This can come back.
Sean Smith will take a look at it.
Runner was down by contact at the 1-yard line. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 8 minutes and 39 seconds. It will be 2nd and goal from the 1.
Cardinals offense back out on the field.
How about that shot? David Johnson looking down the goal line. I haven't scored in 4 weeks. I'm trying to get over the goal line. Your knee was down though, Dave.
So he has a touchdown taken away on his 27th birthday.
Happy birthday, David.
It took a present away.
Happy birthday, David. You're going to get another opportunity right here, I bet.
So it will be 2nd and goal from inside the 1-yard line. 3 tight ends. J.J. Nelson split out wide to the left. Again, it is Johnson. He's in. Touchdown. So a second opportunity after his knee was down David Johnson with 61 of the 64 yards, Rondé, for the Cardinals on this drive.
And I'm pretty sure he's not down on this one. And yes, this is, again, direct run right at the heart of the defense. And look, when you have these young offensive linemen, these inexperienced guys in this offense, I think the best way to get them going is run some power football. Let them get behind their pads, push the pile, and then David Johnson does a good job falling in for a touchdown this time.
His 7th rushing touchdown of the season, first in the last 5 games. Zane Gonzalez out for the extra point attempt. 7-0 Arizona. David Johnson into the end zone. We will be right back after this message from Bose. There's David Johnson, had that big 40-yard reception to set up his touchdown.
Oh, I love using this. This is the play that set it up, the pick route at the line of scrimmage. We'll spin over and see the beautiful catch over the shoulder, beating Deion Jones down the sideline, and that was the play that set up this great finish by this Cardinals offense to start their day. David Johnson falling in for the 1-yard touchdown.
Marvin Hall is back deep for the Falcons. Kickoff bounces out of the back of the end zone, so Matt Ryan and the Falcons will start at their 25-yard line, their second possession.
Well, they started the game fast last week in Green Bay and went down and scored, and then kind of got blown out of the house. I think they got to answer early. You know, this is not a team that has been as prolific scoring as you might expect. With all this talent, it's been a disappointment, and you don't want to get down in a game, especially your last game at home. Expect them to get going here quickly.
On first down, it's Coleman. Buchanan makes the tackle. No gain on the play. To Los Angeles for a game break. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Vikings up 7-0 on the Dolphins. Kirk Cousins hands it off to Dalvin Cook, who takes it in from 13 yards out. Of course, they fired their offensive coordinator earlier this week. They're up early, 14-0 on the Dolphins. Kenny, Rondé, and Sarah.
Thanks, Carissa. Vikings in the mix in the NFC playoff picture at 6-1.
Who isn't in the playoff picture right now? There's only a couple of teams that are out completely.
Well, the Falcons, believe it or not, have not been eliminated, but they need 15 different things to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to let you do that math all day long, Kenny.
Including winning all 3 of their games. It's been a disappointing season. They went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, won a playoff game, beat the Rams in a wild card matchup last year, but lost 4 of their first 5 games. Then seem to be heading in the right direction, even their record at 4-4, but have lost 5 straight.
Well, we did the game at Cleveland where they lost and haven't really recovered since then. And you know, the talk this week is all about focus, and to me, focus is execution too. I mean, finding ways to get easy completions, keep the ball, maintain possession. They haven't been able to do that well all season long here the past month and a half.
Ryan on 3rd and 10, sacked for the second time today. This time it's Hassan Reddick, his 3rd of the season.
Well, Hassan Reddick has really morphed into his role as that will linebacker. And they put all these guys on line of scrimmage. He's up at the top of your screen. He just beats Tevin Coleman, throws him out of the way a couple of times, and gets to Matt Ryan. You got to know that there's pressure there. And I know Matt Ryan is a veteran quarterback. There's got to be an outlet when you have that many guys blitzing your quarterback. And again, this Arizona defense is off the field. Give the ball back to their offense.
Bosher punting from his 10-yard line. Fair catch called for by Peterson. So terrific field position once again after a great stand by the Arizona defense and the sack by Reddick. Back in Atlanta, Matt Ryan along with Matt Schaub. Off to the right, the coordinator, Steve Sarkisian.
Significantly off to the right.
Falcons have punted following each of their first 2 possessions. So the Cardinals back to work from their 43-yard line as Johnson is tackled for a loss. Stephen Means made the play for this Atlanta defense. So a slow start for the Falcons offense, Rondé. Their home finale coming off the 5 straight defeats.
Yeah, definitely a little shocking. You know, some urgency, right? That's, I think, what everybody's expecting out of this Falcons team. You can't keep harping on how bad the season's been with so many high expectations, but right now, I know it's early in this football game, but it looks like Arizona wants a little bit more.
Second down and 11. It's picked off on the deflection, and taking it back all the way for a touchdown is Deion Jones. Well, looks like the Falcons defense wants it.
There's lots of ways to score, Kenny. I know that for a fact, and Deion Jones is going to be the beneficiary of a Vic Beasley tip here, right here at the end of the line of scrimmage. And watch how Josh Rosen lowers his arm angle to throw this to David Johnson. And so it's a low delivery, and you got to be ready for tips and overthrows. He gave up a big play early to set up a score. Well, he's got I got you back play right there with that touchdown.
Third TD of his career. You mentioned earlier it's his 3rd game back from the foot injury. Matt Bryant with the extra point. So if the offense can't get it done, how about a touchdown from the Falcons defense? The block by Beasley right into the arms of Deion Jones. Josh Rosen has now had 4 interceptions returned for touchdowns this season. Falcons celebrate the 41-yard return by Deion Jones.
That's definitely the standard of this Falcons defense. That's what Dan Quinn, Marquand Manuel, that's what they're looking for. Turnovers and scores defines good defenses, and when this team was good, that's what they were doing. Have not seen a lot of that this year.
We spoke with Deion Jones the other day. He said his father wanted to name him Debo after a combination of Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson, but he lost the argument.
He definitely lost that. Who's going to name their kid Debo? I like Deion a lot better. He's a good football player. You know, talk about this team, and it's not to dig into excuses or explanations, but their injuries on defense have absolutely killed this football team. At safety, at linebacker. So to have him back is a big plus for this football team.
So now Josh Rosen and the Cardinals offense back on the field against the injury-depleted Falcons defense. This is Edmonds on first down, breaks a tackle, takes it out to the 31-yard line for a gain of 6. So Josh Rosen was the 10th overall pick, one of 5 quarterbacks selected in the first round, Rondé.
Well, you look at the stock report, and this is not an indication of future success, but just where they are now, and we know what Baker did last night. He was amazing. Josh Rosen has been a little bit up and down, a little erratic, and then there's Lamar Jackson, right, playing Tampa today. He's been sensational for that team, leading them to a 3-1 record. So, you know, it's too early in their careers to make a final judgment, but right now, Josh Rosen needs to get a little bit better.
On 2nd and 4, Rosen throws, and that's off the hands of the intended receiver, the tight end, Ricky Seals-Jones.
Well, this got to be a catch. I mean, I know this ball was delivered with a lot of juice here. It's play action. He's got some pressure in his face. He does a really good job with his footwork and not panicking. And the ball is perfect. It can't hit you in any better place. Ricky Seals-Jones has been a little bit up and down, too. I mean, I expected this guy to explode onto the scene this year after his season last year, but that's got to be a completion to help your young quarterback out.
All 7 rookies on the field now for the Cardinals offense. 3rd down and 4. Cardinals must get to the 35 for a first down. Rosen swings it out, and they do pick up the first. It's Chase Edmonds. So a new set of downs for this Cardinals offense.
Chase Edmonds, he's an interesting guy too, isn't he, Kenny? Everybody talks about, you know, David Johnson on this offense, but David Johnson's a guy you don't really want to take off the field because you never know when the big play is going to happen with David Johnson. But Chase Edmonds has really taken his role and run with it. I mean, at times he's looked like a little bit better runner. He's got a little bit of patience to him. He's got some explosiveness to him. We know that he can catch the ball. It's evidenced by that catch right there.
He's the all-time leading rusher in Patriot League history. This is T.J. Logan. Second year back out of North Carolina, and it did not fool Vic Beasley.
Not one bit did it fool Vic Beasley, Kenny. They're trying to get a little jet sweep here, and neither one of the tight ends are going to pay attention to him. They expect the ball to be past him. They're trying to get out to the corner. You better block this guy. He came in with some intentions today. We saw the tip already that led to the Deion Jones interception. Nice play there, tackle for loss.
Loss of 3. Johnson in the backfield. Second down and 13. 7-7 game here in Atlanta. On the delay, it's Johnson. And Johnson with a burst up the middle out to the 45-yard line. So a third down and 7 upcoming for Arizona.
See what Byron Leftwich has got dialed up here on third down. You know, they changed coordinators midstream with Mike McCoy, and he told me he hasn't really been able to implement things that he might want to do. You got to kind of stay the course when you make that change in midseason, but everybody has a good third down plan. It's the thing you work on most. See if they can pick up a first down here.
Fitzgerald slot to the left, blows it in trouble, and he is sacked back at the 35-yard line. Devondre Campbell along with Bruce Irvin.
And it seems like both of these teams are going to bring the house today. Sorry, here's Devondre right here. Just watch the game he runs with Bruce Irvin. Little TE game, out in, whatever you want to call it. And this offensive line has not worked together very often. So these simple little rush moves, it's easy to see how they get confused. And because of the lack of time on task together, it's a sack for Campbell.
Andy Lee punting for the 78th time, most in the league. Fair catch is called for by Justin Hardy. Late first quarter in a 7-7 game. The Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees, recognizing excellence on and off the field from these two teams. Antoine Bethea, he's a nominee for the second time, and Grady Jarrett of the Atlanta Falcons. Larry Fitzgerald won the award, co-winner back in 2016. We spoke with Larry about it yesterday, and he said it was greatest honor he's ever received.
And I love how they get the sticker on the back of the helmet. When you win the award, you actually get the patch on your shoulder, which is such a great distinction.
On the toss, it's Coleman, first down and more. One man to beat. Tevin Coleman still going. Inside the 10 and finally dragged down. Trey Boston made the tackle at the 7-yard line. 65 yards for Coleman.
Well, this is where Tevin Coleman is really good. He needs to be in space. I don't think he's a great inside runner, but when you get blocking out there on the edge, then you just let this guy's athleticism take over. And Trey Boston does a great job staying in the fight here, because he got turned around once and then came back and made this tackle. That's a long touchdown run. Good job by Atlanta's offense there.
Would have been a touchdown if Boston not made the play. Coleman stays on the field following the longest run of his career. Oftentimes you see the back head to the sideline after a run as long as Coleman just had.
Well, he's been a really good complementary back in this offense for a lot of years with Devontae Freeman, but Freeman's been out since the beginning of the season, so he's really taken on that role, and I think a lot of people are questioning whether he can be a lead back. Now, I can't answer that. I know what he can do when he gets the ball in space. And Ito Smith, who's in the football game now, has been sharing the load, and he's been actually a pretty pleasant surprise for this Falcons offense.
With Freeman on IR. Fake toss, and then it's a shovel pass to Julio Jones. Robert Gunter makes the tackle.
And nothing doing here. This is a clever design play. I think everybody's moving outside, and Julio comes in, but watch Gunter. Makes a nice tackle, too. Julio's the mutant that Julio is. You don't expect a defensive tackle to get him on the ground. This is a very nice tackle.
Yeah, terrific tackle by Rodney Gunter. So now 3rd and goal. Smith now split out to the right. Empty backfield. Sanu in the slot to the left. Ryan moves to his right. And now he throws, and Austin Hooper unable to make the catch.
Well, I think that Arizona knows that this is the guy they want to get the football to, and they basically put a bracket on him. See Trey Boston here, you see Hassan Reddick on the inside. They're doubling the stars, so to speak. And he still tries to fit this in here, but way to stay in the fight there, Hassan Reddick. Get his arm in there and just punch it out.
So after the 65-yard run by Coleman to set up a 1st and goal at the Cardinals 7, Cardinals defense keeps him out.
And that's disappointing if you're Atlanta, to have that explosive play not result in 7 points, have to rely on a field goal. That's a little deflating.
Matt Bryant connects from 22. Falcons take a 3-point lead, 37 seconds remaining in the first quarter. There's Steve Wilkes, first-year head coach, spent the last 6 seasons on Ron Rivera's staff in Carolina. Matt Nagy doing a terrific job. Bears in first place in the NFC North. Mike Vrabel in Tennessee over 500. So is Frank Reich with the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Patricia, the former coordinator in New England. Pat Shurmur's Giants have won 4 of their last 5. Steve Wilkes and the Cardinals at 3-10. Same record as your former head coach, John Gruden, now out in Oakland. Steve Wilkes, an amazing story. Grew up in the Charlotte area. At one point, he had 8 different jobs in 8 years between 1999 and 2006, working his way up the coaching ranks. When the Carolina Panthers first played in Charlotte, remember they played their home games in Clemson during their first season in '95. Wilkes was coaching locally. He set up a concession stand across the street, sold snacks across the street from the stadium, and he told his friends, "I'm going to coach there one day."
That's one way to get in. But I tell you what you love about Coach Wilkes, and obviously playing in the South, I played against him for a number of years. He's unwavering in his approach. He told me a story the first game that I had of him, where he came and actually interviewed in Tampa when I was there. He's like, "You probably don't even remember this, but I was one of the guys that Monty Kiffin, our defensive coordinator at the time, brought in to be the DB coach." I was like, "Oh, I would have made you famous, man. He should have convinced Monty to get you there." But the way he's approached and trying to change this culture here in Arizona, and it's a tough conversation to have, because they had a winning culture here under Bruce Arians. You had a down year last year, but then you bring in a whole new system, whole new defense, 2 offensive coordinators, and he's going through the growing pains right now.
Quarterback Carson Palmer retired. Edmonds, nice run out to the 38. Picks up a first down. When he was not hired in Tampa, Wilkes wound up going to Chicago with Lovie Smith and went to a Super Bowl his first season on the Bears staff.
Well, I like the way that he's tried to make this team accountable. So many guys on IR for this football team. It's amazing getting ready for this team.
There's Johnson. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter in Atlanta. A defensive score for the Falcons. They lead the Cardinals 10-7. Back in Atlanta as we get set for the second quarter. Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Sarah Walsh. First quarter numbers, 165 combined yards. 105 came on 2 plays.
Yeah, a couple of huge plays in this game so far. Not a lot of drives, though.
David Johnson, 40-yard reception leading to the Arizona touchdown, and then the 65-yard run by Tevin Coleman. On the delay, it is Johnson. Deion Jones, who has the Atlanta touchdown, makes the tackle. 3rd down and 8 coming up for Josh Rosen and the Cardinals. One catch for Larry Fitzgerald so far today. That came on their first play from scrimmage. Fitzgerald matched up with Isaiah Oliver, bottom of your screen. Now he shifts over to the right side. Cardinals must get to the 48 for a first down, as Rosen was hit as he got rid of the football. And it is recovered by the Falcons. The question is, was the arm moving forward? They've ruled it a fumble on the field.
I think this was Coleman again, who came in off the edge. Very similar type rush game. just going to keep staying in the fight. No, I'm wrong. It's Grady Jarrett.
On the field was a fumble recovered by Atlanta. First down.
And the question is whether that the ball is out of the hand before he hits it. It's very close, but it looks like the ball is coming off the hand there, and Robert Poole was able to pick it up. The fumble. Yeah, I think that's a fumble all the way.
Now, all turnovers are reviewed. It was ruled a fumble on the field, and it certainly did not look like the arm and hand was moving forward.
Now, even if the ball's out of his hand, it can be pushed forward, right? But it looked to me like that hand was empty before that ball started to go forward. And Grady Jarrett, Kenny, he's been their best defensive lineman. I mean, by far. And they haven't had a lot of sacks coming into this game. I think they only had 27 coming in. But his production from inside defensive tackle position has been amazing.
Ruling on the field, fumble is confirmed.
Ruling has been confirmed. Grady Jarrett, the Falcons Walter Payton Award nominee, comes up with the sack, the forced fumble. Brian Poole on the recovery. Second Arizona turnover. From the 34 of the Cardinals on first down, Ryan fires. Wide open is Julio Jones.
Well, I always think when Julio Jones gets inside, he ends up as an inside receiver. He's so dangerous because you can't match up with them in there. And Matt Ryan knows that, puts it right over the head of that underneath defense, and big play.
His second catch, good for 22 yards. Ito Smith in the backfield. From the Cardinals 12. This is Smith. And he gains 3 down to the Arizona 9-yard line. Rookie out of Southern Miss, 4th-round draft pick. $73 yards on the ground for the Falcons, 65 on one play.
Now, the worst rushing team in football is the Atlanta Falcons. So, yeah, the big run by Tevin Coleman was part of that, but you see a commitment. They're playing with 2 tight ends a lot in this football game. It's not just going to be a pass fest for Atlanta today.
Second down and 7. What happened to Ryan on that one? Looked like it slipped out of his hand.
It really did. I'm not even sure. I know he was trying to get this ball. Look at Ito Smith here and just popped it out. And I think he saw Mayowa standing right in the path of this throw and gave second thoughts about trying to force it in there.
There's Steve Sarkisian, Falcons offensive coordinator. 3rd down and 7. They can pick up a first down at the 2-yard line. Timeout is taken by the Cardinals. So the Atlanta Falcons look to capitalize on the second Arizona turnover. Interception return for a touchdown by Deion Jones earlier. And now the fumble on the sack by Josh Rosen. So a 3rd down upcoming. 3rd down and 7 for Matt Ryan and the Falcons.
Well, this is the second time, Kenny, they've been down here inside the red zone, and they got to take advantage of it. The big run by Tevin Coleman led to a field goal. This one, the turnover, your defense doing their job. They still have already scored. They've given you ball back in favorable position. Good offenses take advantage of this field position and go score. And it's the one thing that this Atlanta offense has struggled with. We know their red zone problems last year. They had seemed to have solved them this year, but twice today they've been down here. See if they can convert on this opportunity.
Ryan on 3rd down. Swings it out. It's Ito Smith. He will pick up a first down. Did not reach the end zone, but a new set of downs now for the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, this looked, for all intents and purposes, like it was going to be a touchdown. Here's Ito Smith. He's just going to sneak out of the backfield. Matt Ryan's looking towards the middle of the field, and then look at the move he makes on Reddick to get free, but stays in the fight and gets him out of bounds before he's able to score.
Falcons hurried back to the line. Ryan on the sneak. He's in. Touchdown. Matt Ryan.
Arizona was taking their time getting lined up there. They couldn't quite get guys in the right position, and Matt Ryan saw that. Just gave the little goose score. Look at Arizona trying to get lined up. Matt Ryan's like, well, if you guys aren't ready, I'll just go ahead and take this. Uses that big body to squirt into the end zone. It's a good way to good job capitalizing on that takeaway by your defense, putting 7 points on the board.
So after the Cardinals took a 7-0 lead, 17 consecutive points for the Falcons in the last 8.5 minutes. They've scored both of their touchdowns following Arizona turnovers. Josh Rosen with 2 turnovers. The first one a pick deflected by Beasley, returned for a touchdown by Deion Jones, and then the sack by Grady Jarrett, recovered by Poole. That led to the second Atlanta touchdown. 14 points off turnovers for Dan Quinn's Falcons.
When we talked to him on Friday, the one thing he said it was really eating in his craw was the turnover margin. The differential has been negative, and he said for our program, that is the compass of what we do, and it was facing south. So the big 2 turnovers today are a huge improvement over what they've been.
They came into this game -4, +2 today. So now another opportunity for Josh Rosen and the Arizona offense. A look at the turnover differential under Dan Quinn. The year they were +11, they went to the Super Bowl.
And they were able to overcome it last year somehow, just because of the explosiveness of their offense. But this year, it's really been the detriment. There was a game where they had 3 turnovers in the red zone a couple of weeks ago, and it was determinant in the game. So off to a much better start today.
Cardinals start from their 25-yard line. Rosen complete. Fitzgerald. And he will lose yardage. Tackled back at the 24-yard line by Sherrod Neesmith. Second catch today for the future first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, there's no question about it. All these records that Mark Dalton, their PR director, puts out there, it really doesn't matter. I was joking with him and said, as if you need another reason to classify this guy as a first ballot Hall of Famer. But again, he still continues to amaze. 15 years in the NFL and doing it at a high level. And I think his role now on this football team, Kenny, is to be a mentor for these young guys. And we'll talk a lot about them if they get involved in this football game. Got some young players that need to step up.
Second down and 11. Rosen down back at the 16-yard line. Sack for the 3rd time. That's Brian Poole, who came up with the fumble recovery earlier.
Oh, he's starting to flinch a little bit right here, Josh Rosen. Poole is unblocked. Atlanta is not shy to blitz this untested and inexperienced offensive line of Arizona. And I know Josh Rosen told us he hates when he has to flinch in the pocket, but there was no avoiding that hit coming from Brian Poole.
Right, he told us yesterday, I hate seeing myself flinch on film. I take pride in being tough.
If he would have been tough there, he would have got hit in the chest. That was a smart get down by him.
They're down at 19 following the 3rd Falcons sack. Rosen escapes the pressure. Can't find anyone downfield. Out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Cardinals will punt it away.
Oh, he's, like I said just a second ago, he's working with a bunch of young players, wide receivers. And I know you're trying to stay in this football game, but Byron Leftwich is going to continue to put him under pressure with all these dropbacks. They're going to continue to get sacks on. They're just unproven. This offensive line hasn't worked long enough together. The quarterback doesn't have nearly enough experience to handle it. So keep an eye on, see if they decide to get more back involved with this running game.
An offensive line that's gone through 9 different combinations this season. 7 in the last 8 games. 3 rookies. What a kick by Andy Lee, one of the best in the business. He leads the league in gross punting average this season. That one 61 yards. Falcons get the ball back. Rosen has been under duress through this entire first half. Arizona Cardinals get off to a quick start, scored on their opening drive, but it's been frustration ever since.
Nice catch there by David Johnson, but yeah, frustration for Josh Rosen, taking a lot of hits right now.
Sacked 3 times, had an interception return for a touchdown. This is Tevin Coleman. Falcons with the ball back, leading 17-7.
Again, Tevin Coleman out in space is just where he's at. Marcus Golden just misses sweeping the leg. You know, Tevin Coleman, again, he's got so much speed and elusiveness and space. Just find ways to be that guy. If you're Atlanta, you want your offense to click. Get your playmakers in space.
Gain of 8 for Coleman, 2nd down and 2. Bottled up back at the 25-yard line was Coleman. Chandler Jones came in to make the play. So 3rd down and 6 coming up for the Falcons. By the way, Matt Ryan with that rushing touchdown on their last possession. His 3rd of the season. That's a career high. Had only 5 in his career coming into this year. 5 in his first 10 years.
The more you can do, Kenny.
We've already seen Drew Brees set a career high this season for rushing touchdowns at the age of 39. Ryan does it as well in his 11th season. Catches made for a 1st down by Calvin Ridley. So a Ryan 1st-round pick back in 08. A look at his numbers during his MVP season back in 2016. He was the league MVP. Similar numbers this year. And they have a record of 4-9.
And he doesn't even rank anymore. Look at these guys here. Drew Brees' numbers are down, so to speak, but he is probably the preeminent leader in the clubhouse just because of the way he's playing with that young Saints football team. We know what Patrick Mahomes is, the sensation that he's been, but and like I said earlier, Matt Ryan would love to take some wins for some of these yards and accomplishments that he's had this season.
Those are Mahomes' numbers prior to the game on Thursday night, heading into Week 15. Marvin Hall makes the catch, and he picks up another Falcons 1st down out to the 43-yard line. 10th catch of the season for the 2nd-year receiver out of Washington.
And Marvin Hall doesn't get a lot of run, right? He's got so many other guys ahead of him, you know, with Julio and Sanu and the emergence of Calvin Ridley. Almost a forgotten man at sometimes in this offense, but got some shiftiness to him. He's more of a returner for this team.
Justin! First attempt for the 43-yard line off the fake to Ito Smith. Ryan connects for a 1st down. Justin Hardy makes the catch and takes it to the Cardinals' 39-yard line for a gain of 18.
Good play action. Look, here's Justin Hardy right here. Good play action. Moves him out. We used to call his G-pass. Set up in the middle of the pocket and then just sneak out. You see a lot of tight ends run that play. But they run so much 11 personnel here. 3 wide receivers on the field. They can do it with anybody.
Ryan with 8 completions to 5 different receivers. Here's Smith. Ito Smith able to gain 5 down to the 34-yard line of the Cardinals before Marcus Golden brought him down.
Well, they started off slow, Atlanta did. You just starting to feel the wave of energy with this offense right now. They're clicking. Every play seems to be working, and Arizona had some good positive plays to start this game. It just seems like that dam's starting to give a little bit.
Time of possession even.
Yeah, but this number is not.
No. You said it earlier, it looked like the Cardinals wanted it more, but the turnaround was that interception for a touchdown. Julio Jones inside the 20. Forced out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Another Atlanta 1st down, gain of 17.
I love this football play. I mean, everybody runs it. It's just a little screen. You run a little fake play action, toss to quarterback's right. And you got to have good athletic offensive linemen to get out in front and give Julio Jones. Look at Matthews. Get out in front, give Julio Jones just a little bit of a block to get to the 2nd level of the defense. Nice play.
Ryan on 1st down with time. And that pass could not be handled by the rookie out of LSU, Russell Gage. 2nd and 10 upcoming. Getting back to Julio Jones. You played against him for a couple of seasons in the division. Tell America what it was like to try and cover him.
Well, look, he's big, he's fast. Obviously, he's got great hands. you know, the only way that I know to deal with him is to get somebody in his face and have somebody leaning. And you see a lot of teams do that. Put a corner in his face, try to beat him up at the line of scrimmage. The problem is he can win there too. And if you miss, he's gone. It's just tough to deal with.
On 2nd and 10, it's Smith. Smith stays on his feet and is tackled at the 14-yard line. Is he a big talker on the field?
No, not at all. Not at all, Julio. Julio is one of those guys just kind of comes and does his job. And I'm sure there's some situations in, you know, some bigger games where you can get him fired up, but he's a really humble guy. You know, his approach is not about him. Obviously, he's the most, I don't know, is he the best wide receiver in the league? You can make an argument for some other guys, but to me, he's the best athlete playing the position in the league. So he knows what he is, but he will gladly give way to some other players on this team.
3rd down and 7, 10th play of the drive on the slant. Ryan unable to connect with Coleman, so the Falcons will send out the field goal unit.
Just behind him. And he knows it. He missed him. You know, he had some room underneath if that ball was a little bit out in front of the receiver.
So here's Bryant, 33-yard attempt, hit from 22 earlier. Bryant's kick is good. They have been tipped at the line, but Bryant able to connect. Falcons by 13. Is there anything Patrick Peterson can't do?
He almost got a block here. Just a couple of fingers on that football. It's like the 3rd time, the 3rd kick that Matt Bryant's made, and Patrick Peterson's been close, and Matt Bryant knows he got away with one right there.
Bryant 2 for 2 today. 2nd time that the Cardinals defense has held the Falcons to a field goal in the red zone.
Yeah, thankfully for them, because this game would be out of hand already. Get Josh Rosen back here on offense. They got to do a better job here protecting their quarterback. Not only the guys up front, maybe leaving a guy in, but with the play calling, continue to drop back. This guy's going to get killed today. This Atlanta defense came out fired up. You can tell they're being very aggressive, blitzing this young quarterback today.
We talked to Josh about his offensive line. He said, look, individually they're playing well. They're good players, but the musical chair scenario has been tough on them.
Yeah, and continuity, right? That's the word he used. Continuity. It's hard to get it with, you know, 5 guys that never played together until a week ago. We got another different lineup today.
From the 25 on 1st down, Rosen throws and a nice catch made by the veteran tight end Jermaine Gresham. He was not touched, so he's able to get back up and takes it out for a gain of 16.
There's Jermaine Gresham right there, and this is pretty good coverage by Foye here, but just savvy, right? Throw him by, didn't have to push him out of the way. He used his leverage against him, and nice throw by Josh Rosen to hit him in the back numbers.
2-time Pro Bowler with the Bengals, Jermaine Gresham. Here's David Johnson, who has the Arizona touchdown. We mentioned it's Johnson's 27th birthday. He is a triplet. He has an older sister and younger sister. Triplets born 27 years ago today.
And he one up me. Right. Having 3. And I think, right, you said he was between the two girls, right?
He was the middle child of the 3.
The little factoids that only Kenny Albert knows about.
Wow. You mentioned Mark Dalton earlier, the tremendous VP of Public Relations. He passed that one along. Mark, one of the best in the business. 2nd down and 6. Rosen's pass was short. He was looking to set up the screen to Johnson.
Well, Tack McKinley's had some questions asked of him this week, and it's hard to get pressure on a screen, but he does just that. Running right through, and that little bit of pressure is what threw off what is really an easy play. Usually let the rusher come and throw it right over his head, but good pressure by Tack there. He's the guy who started off this season so hot, Tack McKinley did. It was 3.5 sacks in a couple of games, and he's really only had 1 since, so asking a lot of him.
And he was a teammate of Josh Rosen at UCLA.
That's right.
the slant. It was bobbled and dropped by the rookie Sherfield.
There's Sherfield down here working against Robert Alford. He's got, again, that little natural pick. Wouldn't have been a first down anyways, but look how close Campbell is to snagging this interception. One of those tips, overthrows, everything where the ball is bouncing up in the air and just misses it. But again, this Cardinals offense, pass heavy today, is struggling. Can't get anything going for the young quarterback, whether it's drops, whether it's pressure.
Their catch called for by Hardy at the 11-yard line with under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Well, speaking of twins, Rondé, twin brothers defend their titles in a huge night of championship fights on Fox. Jamal Charlo takes on Willie Monroe Jr. Jermel Charlo defends his belt against Tony Harrison. PBC Saturday, 8 Eastern, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Dan Quinn, a big boxing fan. He likes to use analogies when showing film to his players during the week, and no exception this past week as they got ready for the game against Arizona.
Yeah, fight and focus, right? It sounds so cliche-ish, but in our sport, it matters. Especially in a team that's not really playing for much here at the end of the season. You still got to go out and do your job.
Pass to the outside is caught by Calvin Ridley. In fact, he showed his team a fight involving Lennox Lewis, who will be the color analyst next Saturday night. PBC on Fox from Brooklyn.
Working along my play-by-play partner, Kenny Albert. Looking forward to listening to you there.
Boom Boom Mancini as well. But Dan Quinn did talk to us about focus. He said we've had too many self-inflicted wounds. Lack of focus has cost us at times. They have a 13-point lead today, as Coleman is brought down at the 20, 1 yard shy of the marker. Kevin Coleman with a 65-yard career-long run earlier, which led to a field goal. Falcons defense has come up big with 3 sacks. They've also returned an interception for a touchdown. 3rd down and 1.
Get these 3rd down situations. We always talk about this. We talk about this Patrick Peterson Julio matchup. He's right there. There's Julio Jones. One way to get him away from that confrontation.
And Jones, the intended receiver. Trey Boston defending, forcing the Falcons to punt.
Know where it's coming. It's just going to be that kind of little route right there. And good job by Trey Boston here. You got a safety playing down in the box, and even if Julio would have caught this, I don't think he would have had enough for the first down. So good job by Arizona finding a way to get off on 3rd down there. It's the first time we've seen them stop this offense in a couple of drives here.
Peterson back deep.
They could really use an explosive return here from PP.
Peterson lets it go, and it bounces all the way down inside the 10-yard line.
And this ball is going to go back to where it hit him on the head, though. Yeah, Russell Gage took it right top in the helmet.
So Russell Gage of the Falcons. And you're right, Rodney, that will go back to the spot.
Somebody's mouthpiece flying out right there. Where'd that come from?
So a 41-yard punt to Los Angeles for a game break. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. So Bears up 7-3 on the Packers. The Bears the number 3 seed in the NFC. Mitchell Trubisky finds Tariq Cohen with 12-yard score. Bears up 14-3. Kenny, Rondé, and Sarah.
All right, Carissa, Bears looking for their 10th win. Packers have not been eliminated, still hoping. But they trail 14-3. Rosen to the outside, and the catch is made by Ricky Seals-Jones for a gain of 9.
Well, he dropped easy. When this one has a high level of difficulty. Great throw there, and fantastic concentration by Ricky Seals-Jones on that contested catch there.
We hit the 2-minute warning in Atlanta with the Falcons leading by 13. Cardinals hoping for some points before the half. back in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where the Super Bowl will be played in 49 days. Super Bowl 53. Falcons home finale, leading the Cardinals 20-7. Following the 2-minute warning on 2nd down and 1. This will depend on the spot. Just short. Here come the Canes.
Got that lollipop on the other side right there. That's the lollipop, if you're asking. I don't think he ever got there. That's about as close as it can be.
Yeah, just did get there.
Just got it.
By the nose of the football. So the Cardinals do get a new set of downs. With 1:42 remaining. Cardinals deferred after winning the coin toss, so they will get the football first following halftime. From their own 49. Rosen under pressure, rolling to his right. There is a flag. First one in quite some time as Rosen throws it away.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on the left tackle, Corey Cunningham. For more on this injury-plagued Cardinals offensive line, down to Sarah.
Yeah, you know, Josh Rosen talked about building a foundation for years to come, and I said, how do you do that when that foundation is constantly changing this year? He said the foundation he's building is one of getting the ball out fast. It builds your shot clock. It creates urgency, but he was adamant, as you guys know, and said multiple times, that's not about taking a personal shot at guys' individual efforts. It's a chemistry issue on the line for them.
All right, thanks, Sarah. First down and 20 for Rosen and this Arizona offensive line. Pass broken up, intended for Ricky Seals-Jones. It was Deion Jones who got a hand on it.
Just mentioned Cunningham, the rookie, working against Takk McKinley over here. Watch this rush here. His feet are a little bit slow. He's tough dealing with speed, just misses it. Then Ricky Seals-Jones again's got to come down with that catch, but Deion Jones at the last second punches it out, but it didn't look to me like he had any way of catching that ball. His hands were backwards almost.
2nd down and 20. Rosen under pressure, looks to get rid of it to Johnson. That's a forward pass, incomplete, and another flag.
Pressure is just constant.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 97. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
That's on Grady Jarrett, who sacked Rosen earlier, forced a fumble.
Well, Vic Beasley gets a great jump here, but here's Grady Jarrett. Watch at the end of the play. Vic Beasley just goes straight into Rosen, and right there diving at his legs is where the penalty is. And it didn't look like it was much contact. It wasn't forcible contact, but just kind of the intention is what Sean Smith saw, the officials saw, and threw that flag.
So a first down for the Cardinals. 1:19 on the clock. Rosen can't find anyone. Now he throws. It is picked off by Brian Poole.
Brian Poole's having himself quite a day here. He's just sitting back in zone coverage, and Larry Fitzgerald finds a nice little pocket behind him. Here's Larry, here's Brian Poole. Watch this pocket that Larry Fitzgerald finds right behind him, but Poole keeps his eyes in the backfield. When he tries to force this ball in, that's a great reaction, and then a fantastic catch on a bullet that he tried to throw in there. Doesn't get any cleaner than that. And this Falcons defense that trying to ask a lot of questions of themselves, coming up strong today.
Second interception of the season for Poole, who recovered the fumble earlier on the sack by Jarrett. It's the 3rd turnover committed by Josh Rosen. So now the Falcons, with a minute 10 remaining, they have all 3 timeouts. Ryan complete, Ridley. Ridley has a first down. As we head to Los Angeles, Kurt, what's coming up at the half?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Dolphins and Vikings look to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Titans visit the Giants, and the Bengals host the Raiders. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime. It's not easy to talk and throw, is it?
Wasn't Brett Favre's first career completion to himself?
Yes, it was. The production value on that. How did they do that, right? That's awesome.
So Kurt completing a couple of passes to himself. We look forward to the Visa halftime report. Julio Jones makes the catch in Cardinals territory. Falcons hustle quickly back to the line. They still have 3 timeouts remaining. From the 43. Bryant to the outside. It's Jones again. Wrapped up by Peterson, who has trouble bringing him down. Finally does at the 35-yard line.
Here's that matchup we've been wanting to be talking about all day. Patrick Peterson, when he gets in his face, you don't usually see Matt Ryan, or I haven't seen him today even look over there, but he knows that Julio's the guy that's heating up right now, and coverage is good. He's such a big boy to get down, isn't he? Patrick Peterson's not small by any means.
No.
Julio Jones just carrying him right there.
This is their 4th matchup. And Peterson held Jones in check in the first 2, 4 receptions and 3 in the other game. But the last time they met, Peterson describes it as the worst game of his career.
Yes.
A huge day, 10 catches, over 180 yards in that game for Julio Jones.
Well, today, haven't seen that matchup as many times as we, I think, anticipated it, because they're moving Julio around. He's been in the slot a lot. Patrick Peterson, unless they're playing man-to-man like they are right now, it's the only time that he'll match up with them. So Matt Ryan right now has a tell. He knows the Cardinals are playing man. He just has to pick out the guy he wants.
From the 36 on 2nd down, Ryan takes off. And now the Falcons will use another timeout. Down to 23 seconds as Ryan scrambles for 15. That's his longest run of the season. Falcons leading by 13. They fell behind early. David Johnson would score on the Cardinals opening drive on his birthday, 7-0 Arizona. Rosen then picked off, deflected by Beasley, returned 41 yards by Deion Jones to tie the game. And then the sack by Jarrett, recovered by Poole. And that would lead to Matt Ryan's career best 3rd touchdown run of the season. A couple of Matt Bryant field goals, 20-7 Atlanta. From the 21. 1 timeout remaining for the Falcons. Empty backfield. Ryan fires, looking for Calvin Ridley in the end zone, incomplete.
We had him there too. Calvin Ridley is behind Brandon Williams right here. He's in the slide. He's going to go little stalk release. Williams' eyes get bad, but Matt Ryan pumps it out of bounds. He thought the coverage was too good. Maybe too many guys in that proximity with another defender over there, so he just took the safe throw and put it out of bounds.
Down to 19 seconds, 2nd and 10. Empty backfield once again for Atlanta. Ryan, end zone, diving catch, Julio Jones, touchdown. There is a flag. Ryan took a hit at the end of the play.
Moving on the field is touchdown. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 55. That penalty will be added on the kickoff. Goal to play, it's touchdown.
Patrick Peterson comes up late here and gets in bump coverage, and I thought the coverage was really good. He's in perfect position. He's in phase, and when he turns to look for this football, he looks the wrong way. Corner's got to be able to look towards the quarterback unless it's a back shoulder fade. That's a hard thing to do for cornerbacks, and that ball is just perfectly delivered as he starts to uncover himself from Patrick Peterson. And this is a fantastic catch. Julio Jones doing Julio Jones things. And here's the penalty at the end of this play. You can see Chandler Jones just coming around the edge, and as he reaches for Matt Ryan, bangs him in the back of the head, and that's a foul.
So Julio Jones with his 6th touchdown this season on his 100th reception. Falcons will go for 2. Ito Smith in the backfield. Atlanta 2 for 5 this season. Lions pass incomplete, looking for Marvin Hall, so it's a 26-7 game. Julio Jones, 6 receptions, 82 yards today, as he goes over 1,500 for the season. These are his numbers heading into the game. Tremendous career over his first 8 years.
Well, all these numbers are numbers that nobody has. It's just thinking about what this guy's going to be down the road. You just add them to this list of guys that are in the Hall of Fame and Hall of Fame worthy. Antonio Brown, maybe Andre Johnson as well. And
only Jerry Rice with more 1,500-yard seasons than Julio Jones and the others. Looks like he's heading into the locker room early with only 13 seconds remaining.
He's had a busy day, and it's nice to see Matt Ryan not be scared of that matchup. I know Patrick Peterson was wanting to have this confrontation with Julio. Julio was wanting to have the confrontation with Patrick Peterson, and these past couple of drives, he's definitely gotten the better of the Arizona cornerback.
Cameron Malveaux of the Cardinals heading in as well. Kickoff from the 50 due to the Chandler Jones roughing the passer call. So we'll come out to the 25. Josh Rosen in his first half, sacked 3 times, a couple of picks. How about the first half for Brian Poole? Recovered a fumble, a sack, and an interception.
And that's what you call production. He's got a lot of mad plays, make a different type plays. He's going to have a, you know, Dan Quinn talked about evaluating yourself. If he does that again on Monday after this game, you're going to have a lot of positive reviews.
An A+ in the first half for Brian Poole, so 26 consecutive points for the Falcons after the Cardinals open the scoring. Play of the first half presented by DirecTV. More for your thing, that's our thing. The deflection by Vic Beasley. Deion Jones returned it 41 yards after the Cardinals got off to a good start. This turned the tides. And the Falcons have scored the last 26. To Los Angeles we go for the Visa halftime report. Kurt Menefee, take it away. Again, it is Johnson. He's in. Touchdown. It's picked off on the deflection and taking it back all the way for a touchdown is Deion Jones. Ryan end zone. Diving catch. Julio Jones. Touchdown. Today's game flow brought to you by Progressive with the Atlanta Falcons leading the Arizona Cardinals by the score of 26-7. Kenny Albert along with Rondé Barber. Terrific effort in the first half. Rondé by the Falcons defense. 3 sacks of Josh Rosen, 2 interceptions, and 1 return for a score.
Well, I think they were challenged by Dan Quinn, their head coach this week. Finish this football season. Yes, everybody's disappointed. This game really means nothing to them except for to yourself. Find some pride in your work, and they've really come out today on fire, gotten after Josh Rosen, and this is the Atlanta team who I think everybody was expecting. And of course they should do this to an Arizona Cardinals team that's really in transition with a new quarterback, head coach, second offensive coordinator, and just a bunch of injuries. So we'll see what Josh Rosen, Byron Leftwich, and David Johnson can come out here in the second half. I know this Atlanta defense is going to want to continue how they started. See if they can make this a little bit of a fight here for Arizona.
So you don't think all 15 of those things are going to happen for the Falcons?
It'll be tough, Kenny. It'll be tough. too many teams got to lose out. I think that's the tough part.
Falcons lead this game by 19. Cardinals start from their 25-yard line. On first down, up the middle, it's Johnson, and he gains 10 for Cardinals first down. Arizona scored on their opening drive. Johnson took it in. However, since then, 3 turnovers, 20 points scored off those miscues, 3 sacks for this Falcons defense.
Kenny, they've been really trying to push the ball down the field, throwing it. And this is one thing when I evaluate this Cardinals offense that you see. It's long developing, deep passing offense. And at a young quarterback, I can find ways to get the ball out of his hands quick.
Movement prior to the snap.
I would complement that with a solid running game.
Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Base first down.
Left guard, Colby Gossett, rookie out of Appalachian State. One of the 3 rookies starting on the Cardinals offensive line.
I just don't think Arizona wants to get to the point where they really shake Josh Rosen. He's a tough kid. He's actually a pleasure to sit down with. He can tell you exactly what's going on and why it's wrong. But you take enough hits, and eventually you start to get a little jittery.
Pass complete to Larry Fitzgerald. Out to the 38 for more on the Cardinals. Down to Sarah.
Well, guys, Steve Wilks said, listen, we have to have better protection. That's not a surprise that he would say that. He also said he wants to see Rosen get rid of the ball much faster, which is something that he's been working on all season long, but those Falcons have been all over him. And he said the best they can do, get rid of that ball as fast as he can. He was also frustrated that he said there was a couple of guys that were open that just didn't catch the ball, and you got to make those catches.
That's right. Ricky Seals-Jones was one.
Yeah, there's been a number. All these young wideouts as well.
Rosen 7 of 14 in the first half, and that pass is batted down by Vic Beasley. It was Beasley who got his hand on Rosen's pass, which was then picked off by Deion Jones for the touchdown.
I think everybody's waiting for Vic Beasley to have an impact game. This is it. This is scat protection, right? The back comes out of the backfield just to give an option to his quarterback for a quick little pass, but Vic Beasley ain't having it. Second deflected pass of the day.
Beasley 15.5 sacks 2 years ago. Former first-round pick out of Clemson. 3rd down and 7. Cardinals must get to the 45 for a first down. Rosen steps up and throws, and that one is broken up by Robert Alford.
Just the timing of this route is just off. Right? He's behind Larry right here, and watch, he's going to get to the top of his route here. Brian Alford's playing off. That ball's got to be there. You got forever as a corner to come over the back and make this play. It wasn't even that tough a play, but Josh Rosen took his time in the pocket, stepped up. By the time he lets go of this football, the receiver that was open at the sticks is covered. They're off the field again.
Andy Lee punting for the 4th time today. Their catch called for by Justin Hardy. The frustration continues for Josh Rosen and the Cardinals offense. Falcons on offense for the first time in the second half. Matt Ryan with a touchdown run and a touchdown pass in the first half. They start from the 17-yard line. On the toss, it's Coleman. And Coleman fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. Down to the field, Sarah.
Julio Jones is on the sidelines right now. He has a helmet on. Dan Quinn told me that he wasn't going to come out right away to start the second half. He's pretty banged up. He's dealing with a rib injury, and they said they wanted to allow him to feel like he was warm. He didn't rule him out for the rest of the game, but he wasn't sure exactly when he would get in there. He has been limping a lot throughout this game. As for the rest of the team, Dan Quinn said, hey, the message is reset the fight, reset the focus, but he was pretty proud of that first half.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Julio Jones also missed some practice time during the week with an illness. 6 receptions today for Julio, 100 on the season. Ryan from the shotgun on the slant. Catch is made by Russell Gage. That's his third reception of the season.
Let's go back to this true view of this touchdown, and Patrick Peterson getting a little greedy with his eyes, thinking this is going to be a back shoulder throw. But watch Julio Jones just accelerate to this ball. And this is, I think, where the rib injury occurred, right there when he hit the ground. That's just a fantastic catch, fantastic throw. And then after the play, this is what he told the trainers. And you can read his lips. I want to play.
So he's back out on the sidelines with his helmet on. Play action on first down. Ryan throws wide open. It's Gage again, his second consecutive catch. 22 yards and a first down. Carissa.
Thanks, getting Colts up 10-0. Andrew Luck hands it off to Marlon Mack, who takes it in from 6 yards out for his second score of the day. Colts leading this one 17-0. Kenny, Rondé, and Sarah.
All right, thanks, Carissa. Colts with a record of 7-6. Off the play fake. Ryan throws, and that is broken up by Trey Boston, intended for Mohamed Sanu. 2nd and 10 coming up. Here comes Julio.
Well, this is the most play-action team, I think, in football. Here's Mohamed Sanu. There's Trey Boston. This is a really good football play by Trey Boston. Playing little quarters coverage, two safety deep, corners deep. Safety will take the inside break, the corner will take the outside break, but that's just a nice play, finding his way to that football, causing that incompletion.
And then Julio Jones headed onto the field, but was then called back. 2nd down and 10.
False start. Offense number 14. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's Justin Hardy. So now Julio Jones back into the Falcons huddle. Hardy will depart. I want to play. I'm sure that was your philosophy even when you got nicked up.
Tell him I refuse to miss plays. And you get the competitive attitude. And again, end of the season, you still got something to prove, man. This is your job, your profession.
2nd and 15. Sanu unable to hang on.
This is close. It's a really good play here at the end, just staying in it. Now he's a drop. I thought Budda Baker may have got in there and maybe caused that, but he was moving up the field before he made reception. And Mohamed Sanu is one of those steady guys. He's not going to wow you with any statistics or anything. Calvin Ridley got off to a fast start. We know what Julio is, but he's been steady as anybody as a receiver option on this football team.
No catches today, 51 on the season, and that one is off the hands of Ridley.
The throw is there, in stride. May have been able to find his way, weave his way towards some yardage there. I don't know if he would have had enough to be able to pick up the first down, but 2 drops in a row for this Falcons offense. And talk about focus, two lack of focus plays there by their wideouts.
So Peterson back deep. We mentioned he returned 4 punts for touchdowns his rookie season. All 4 called by our colleague Sam Rosen.
There you go.
Sam was working all 4 of those games. There's a flag as Peterson now draws another flag on contact from Russell Gage. So flags at the start of the play and the finish.
Yeah, running into the kicker here. And then
into the kicking leg, not the plant leg.
Yep, and then fair catch interference here.
On conference, Sean Smith and his fellow officials. Larry Fitzgerald eavesdropping.
Yeah, I think they're trying to decide what variety of roughing the kicker it is here.
There are fouls by each team on the play. Got running into the kicker, number 56 of the defense. We also have personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 83. Those fouls offset will replay 4th down.
So it's running into the kicker, not roughing the kicker, and then the penalty called on Gage at the other end of the field. Now, running into involves the kicking leg, not the plant leg.
Yes, exactly right.
Plant leg would lead to a roughing the kicker call. So they will do it again. Bosher waiting back at his 30. Peterson will field it at the 14. Out of bounds after crossing the 20. So we saw Julio Jones back on the field for the Falcons, who lead by 19. Busy couple of weeks. Celebration Bowl here yesterday. North Carolina A&T and Alcorn State. Peach Bowl, Florida and Michigan in 2 weeks. And then Super Bowl 53 here in Atlanta. Last Saturday night, the MLS Cup, the Atlanta United won the championship before 73,000 fans in this building.
Yeah, congratulations to Arthur Blank, owner of that team.
Arthur's Falcons leading this game, 26-7. Play action. Rosen moving to his left. Now he throws back across to Fitzgerald. And Larry Fitzgerald picks up an Arizona Cardinals first down out to the 35, a gain of 13.
Well, watch how much Larry Fitzgerald works to make this completion. Here's Larry. He's working on his Isaiah Oliver, who's taking some reps from Robert Alford. Goes all the way around, then comes straight back to the ball, and then work after the catch. That's a pro for you right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Career reception number 1,290. He's 10 away from 1,300. Only Jerry Rice and our colleague Tony Gonzalez have more. For today for Larry Fitzgerald. From the 35, Rosen is sacked for the 4th time today. Stephen Means with this one.
Now, Stephen Means is another one of those guys that's getting some meaningful reps on this defensive line. He's right there as an interior rusher. These young offensive line, Arizona's got no chance here. These guys losing one-on-one battles. When they run games, they're losing. It's just pin your ears back for this Falcons defensive line right now.
Stephen Means, who played with Khalil Mack during his collegiate days in Buffalo. His first sack of the season. Second down and 17. This is TJ Logan. This play goes nowhere. As we head to Los Angeles, game break, Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Packers trying to stay alive for that wild card spot. Aaron Rodgers hands it off to Jamal Williams, who scores from 10 yards out. They go for 2. Rodgers to Devontae Adams. We are all tied up in Chicago. Kenny, Rhonda, and Sarah.
All right, thanks, Carissa. Packers still alive. Tied with the Bears. Looking for their 6th win. We'll see them next week against the Jets.
Amazing you fire your head coach and you're still in the playoff hunt. That's just the kind of the year that it's been in the NFL, Kenny. Both conferences are like this.
Joe Philbin now at the helm in Green Bay. 3rd down and 22. Rosen dumps it off. David Johnson will not pick up a first down, so they make something out of nothing after another near sack.
I don't mean to laugh at this, but just watch him run around here. Nearly got sacked. It's only a 3-man rush, and they still get pressure on him. And at this point, you're starting to see ghosts. You're just looking for outlets. David Johnson actually does a really good job sneaking out and giving it an option. He's going to take another sack by Tack McKinley. And this offense cannot find its stride at all. Too many lost yardage plays on 1st and 2nd down, puts them behind the sticks, and your young quarterback's just got no chance.
Fair catch called for by Hardy at the 28. Matt Ryan of the Falcons getting the ball back. The celebration last Saturday. Atlanta United 2-0 over Portland to win the MLS Cup.
Nice use of the verbiage, Kenny. There's Arthur enjoying his Falcons today. Not been a great year to watch his football team, but the other football team, a fantastic season.
Arthur Blank's Falcons in the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. Come from behind victory by the New England Patriots. Big hole on first down for Ito Smith. Out to the 44-yard line, a gain of 16.
Well, Ryan Schrader is in at tight end right here. It is a great block. Sorry, that's not Schrader. I thought that was 73. It's been Garland in there. He gets a good block on the edge on Mayowa. And Ito Smith explodes through that hole. And this rushing offense that has been miserable all year, finding its stride here against these Arizona Cardinals.
Garland remains in as an extra blocker. From the 44-yard line on first down, it's Smith again, and the flag is thrown.
No question what this is. You're going to say it's a face mask there.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 95. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Robbie Gunter.
Mayowa had him by the inside of his shoulder pads, which is not a foul. That hand coming in late on the face mask is where that penalty was.
Right, for a runner inside the tackle box, there was no horse collar.
Exactly right.
But
No
a
question.
definite face mask.
No question on the face mask.
First and 10 from the 40, off the fake to Ito Smith. Ryan then hits Smith, but he will lose 3 yards. Brought down back at the 43-yard line. So for Matt Ryan and this Falcons offense, it's been a disappointing season. There's Steve Sarkisian, coordinator. How can they get back on the right track next year?
I mean, that's, if you're looking for answers, it starts with the play caller. Because they've had issues finding a continuity, finding answers when they need to find them. Because it's not the talent. There's no question they have superior talent.
Here's Coleman, broke a tackle, still going. Tevin Coleman all the way, 43 yards for a Falcons touchdown.
You want to know one way to get it back? Find a run game. No Devontae Freeman, somebody's got to pick up the slack. It can't just always be Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley producing points. It's got to be Tevin Campbell. Without Devontae Freeman, it's a great run. Look at the patience, the jump cut to get back into the hole. And then this acceleration is something else. He's setting up Bethea there and just goes right past him. What a play. What a run.
He had a 65-yard run earlier. This time he takes it in from 43 to extend the Falcons' lead. Bryant with the extra point. Career high 116 yards for Coleman on only 8 carries today. There's Tevin Coleman following his 43-yard touchdown run, greeted by his injured teammate Devontae Freeman.
Well, that's got to feel good for Tevin Coleman. I mean, I was reading press clippings all week talking about him not being able to be a lead back in this league and not living up to the expectations when Devontae Freeman went out. But having himself a day today, though. 8 carries, 116 yards. That's something else. 2 huge explosive runs.
33 consecutive points scored by the Atlanta Falcons. They've rushed for 162 coming into the game. The last ranked run game, 81 yards per game. So they've doubled it up today against Arizona.
And Arizona's just falling by the wayside here very quickly. It's not able to match anything on offense. They've had a bunch of 3-and-out drives here in this second half. You want to say that it's still all about the development of Josh Rosen, but right now. I don't know what benefits going on right now with all this pressure he's been under.
The handoff to Chase Edmonds on first down. Out to the 28-yard line. Gain of 3. You know, you look at the turnover on this Arizona Cardinals team this season. 16 players on injured reserve. They've made 287 different roster moves, and that includes practice squad, but that has been a major factor for the struggles this team has had on the field.
I mean, that's hard to deal with. Having that many different guys in and out of your roster in the building and trying to get them all on the same page. I mean, we continue to say, we keep regurgitating the same theme, but you know, it's a reflection of the product. That's why we're seeing such a poor product from these guys. It's tough on Steve Wilks right now, trying to build this team and continuity and whatever else on this team without having continuity in your roster.
12 men on the field, defense, 5-yard penalty results in first down.
Falcons had 12 men on the field. Since week 17 last season, only 17 players remain. Giants with the fewest, only 12. All of those teams with a new head coach since week 17 of last year. Rosen's pass is caught. That's Sherfield. Deion Jones makes the tackle. But the continued development of Josh Rosen, that's the most important thing for the Cardinals over the final 2.5 games of this season. 10th overall pick out of UCLA. His 11th start. He's won 3. On the delay, Edmonds is met immediately by Grady Jarrett. There's the sticker on his helmet as the Falcons Walter Payton Award nominee.
Well, you see some good and some bad, Kenny. To answer your question about Josh Rosen, he needs to find a way to make better decisions, or quicker decisions, in my book. And some of that's going to have to do with the structure of the offense. I see that he holds the ball a little bit too long. Can't make that quick decision, and he wants to see the whole field.
Timeout taken by the Cardinals. We'll return after this message from State Farm. Back in Atlanta with the Falcons leading the Cardinals 33-7.
And what he needs to do really in this offseason, take time, and if Byron Leftwich is still here, if he's still the offensive coordinator, got to put that extra work in. You know, these great quarterbacks always talking about getting with their other receivers and developing chemistry or whatnot. He needs to do that with his coaches.
They're down at 12. Rosen looking. Can't find anyone. And he'll be sacked for the 5th time. Bruce Irvin wraps up Josh Rosen, 5th Atlanta sack.
Oh, where's he going to throw this ball? They're playing 2 deep, man underneath. Everybody's got somebody bracketed to him with the safety to help him over the top, and then Josh Rosen's just nowhere to go. There's nowhere for him to find an outlet. And this pass rush against this offensive line is just chomping at the bit to get after. Every single body wants to get a piece of this quarterback right now.
Punt from Lee out of bounds. Falcons get the football back, leading by 26.
Well, it's been tough on him all day long. The pressure has been constant, consistent. He's just nowhere to get rid of these footballs. Give some credit to Atlanta. They're bringing some blitzes, but it's been mostly their 4-man rush. Some of the guys that had disappointing years, Vic Beasley, Tack McKinley, Bruce Irvin, who's only been here about a month, finding a way to get to the quarterback, and under pressure, he's been really bad. 17 hurries, 9 hits, and of course those 5 sacks.
5 sacks, a season high for the Falcons on defense. Falcons start from their 24. Ryan hands it off. This is Ito Smith. Smith out across the 30. Gain of 6. This Atlanta offense today closing in on 350 yards, including 168 on the ground. for coordinator Steve Sarkisian.
Well, they've been able to right the ship today against a Cardinal team that's not playing very well, but you got 3 more weeks or 2 weeks after this season or after this game to really figure out what you're going to be. You know, is Steve Sarkisian going to be back? I think that's the big question everybody in Atlanta wants to know.
Second down at 4. Ryan, quick out, Justin Hardy. Hardy picks up a first down. Out to the 37-yard line. Time for another game break. Kurt.
Bears trying to wrap up the NFC North by beating the Packers. Well, this has certainly helped. Mitchell Trubisky to Trey Burton, 13 yards, scores second TD pass for Trubisky, and they're up by a touchdown. Just over 10 minutes left in regulation. Kenny, Rondé, and Sarah.
Thanks, Kurt. Yes, the Bears do clinch the division with a win or a Minnesota loss. Vikings lead the Dolphins 24-17. Busy weekend for Kurt. Called the game yesterday between the Jets and the Houston Texans in New Jersey. From the 36, it's Smith. Gain of 4. Out to the 40-yard line as we approach 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. Look at the NFC playoff picture. The Saints and the Rams have already clinched division titles. Bears clinched the division with a win. Dallas trailing Indianapolis 20-0. Right now the Seahawks and the Vikings in the 2 wild card spots. Minnesota leading Miami 24-17. Seattle in San Francisco later today to face the 49ers. Ryan's pass is caught by Mohamed Sanu. That is his first reception today. Julio Jones had 6 catches all in the first half, 1 touchdown. And has 100 receptions on the season.
And I would bet I think he was done. He's going to Raheem Morris, the wide receiver coach, saying, am I done? I think he's done. He has no helmet. He's standing there looking like a coach talking to the young receivers coming off the sideline.
He's lobbying Raheem.
I think he's done enough today. You know,
third quarter comes to an end here in Atlanta with the Falcons on their way to their 5th win of the season. As we begin the fourth quarter in Atlanta, we send our condolences to the family of Bill Fralick, former Falcon great, passed away a couple of days ago at the age of 56 here in Atlanta. College Football Hall of Famer, first-round pick by the Falcons, spent 8 years here, 4 Pro Bowls, and he was the first offensive lineman, Rondé, to finish in the top 10 in Heisman Trophy balloting. So our condolences to the Fralick family.
Yeah, and they had a nice tribute here in the stadium before the game, up on the big scoreboards up top. And
that's a moment of silence. Direct snap to Sanu on the first play of the fourth quarter. With the Falcons leading 33-7. Ito Smith in the backfield along with Brian Hill. First year back out of Wyoming. Off the fake to Smith. Ryan fires, and that one gets broken up by Trey Boston. It was intended for Marvin Hall.
Trey Boston's had a couple of nice pass breakups today. This is another one. Playing that middle safety, he just dives down and he reads this route. He's just going to try to sit over the ball right here. Corner on top. He knows he's underneath. Great play.
His head coach knows him well. Spent 3 years in Carolina with Steve Wilkes. Now together in the Valley of the Sun, 2nd and 10. From the Arizona 44. Another big hole and a first down and more for Tevin Coleman. Still going. Touchdown. But there is a flag. Coleman takes it 44 yards. But the officials will get together.
Well, the touchdown's going to come back because of the illegal block. But again, the run is fantastic by Tevin Coleman. Good blocking up front.
During the run, a wiggle block in the back, offense number 83. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Russell Gage.
Just a beautiful run. It's just a stretch run. All these offensive linemen, and he just has to find a cutback lane. Just give me one. He goes right through the gap. The offensive line gave him an internet speed, and he's had a great day. But this one's coming back because of this block right here, blocking the back on Brandon Williams. No, Brandon Williams did not look like he was in a hurry to go make that confrontation on Tevin Coleman. But how about his day, Kenny? 144 yards right now on 9 carries. Officially have more rushing yards than passing yards. Wow. Atlanta does today.
28 yards on that run prior to the penalty. Down to the 24-yard line is Smith. There's Gage, who committed the penalty 2 plays ago.
Yes. He's had a couple of penalties today. He had the one on the punt. I don't necessarily know that was a great call on the block in the back, but getting his opportunity. Dan Quinn told us to put in a play for him last week. He goes in the game, he has a false start, and he's a young guy. He's still trying to figure it out.
Catch made by Sanu, and he takes it down to the Cardinals 7. Second reception for Mohamed Sanu today. You talked about the rush yards and pass yards for the Falcons today. As we take one more look, they have 213 yards on the ground. That's a season high for Atlanta. Now 206 through the air.
Well, that was going to be a run. He just pulled it out and ran the slant. Mohamed Sanu runs a slant, and not all these receivers block anymore down the field on run plays. They give themselves an option, the quarterback an option, to come out and throw it if they want to. And Matt Ryan has said, you know what? I'm going to try to get these numbers a little more even. I'm going to throw this one.
First and goal from the 8-yard line as Smith looks to spin out of trouble. And he'll be brought down back at the 14-yard line by Benson Mayola. So Mayola makes the stop, and Smith is slow to get up. Here's what the Falcons have done today versus their season averages.
They just had a stretch there, Kenny, of about 4 games where they were bad, really bad on offense. Look at those numbers. Just 1 yard separates passing and rushing yards. Today, it's been a banner-type performance for him going against this Cardinals team, but still ask yourself the question, where has this been all year? I mean, you have to. I know this is a bad Cardinals team. It's a young Cardinals team. It's an inexperienced with depth Cardinal team. Falcons have been rolling all day today.
From the 14, Ryan able to get rid of it. It's Sanu, and he will take it down inside the 5. This Falcons team has scored 30 or more points 5 times in their first 8 games. At a record of 4-4 at that point.
Yep, and then
20 or fewer.
Yeah, and then went to Cleveland. Right? Went to Cleveland and scored 16, and then never really recovered. Scored some garbage touchdowns last week against Green Bay after being down 34-7. Well, it's really been a roller coaster experience for this Falcons team all year long.
Ryan on 3rd and goal, end zone, touchdown, and a late flag after the hit on Justin Hardy.
This had all day here to buy time. Justin Hardy, he's the outside receiver down here. He's just going to buy time and run to the end line. When the quarterback gives himself a little bit of time, finds his open man, and almost feel bad for Trey Boston here. He's trying to slow down, and the head came in.
There's
and
no foul on the play.
Yep.
For a late hit. Result of the play, it's a touchdown.
Flag has been picked up.
Yeah, I was going to say that would have been a little bit of an egregious foul. As you could tell, he was trying to slow down, but he was coming full speed over to Hardy.
Second touchdown of the season for Hardy. And for Matt Ryan, his second touchdown pass today, 30 on the season. 30 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Bryant, the extra point. 40 consecutive points scored by the Atlanta Falcons today as Ryan connects with Hardy. It has been a long time since the Cardinals last won a game in Atlanta. 1993 season, Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys won their second straight Super Bowl title. There's Emmitt Smith, the NFL most valuable player. Fox Sports did not broadcast its first game until September of '94. 8 straight losses for the Cardinals in Atlanta.
How about Atlanta was in the NFC West,
right?
And Arizona was in the NFC East.
And the 1993 season, it was the only time in NFL history teams played 16 games over an 18-week stretch. Every team had 2 weekends off, and the Cardinals won that game at the Georgia Dome. It was actually January 2nd, '94, final weekend of the '93 regular season. No, Larry Fitzgerald was not a member of the Cardinals in that game.
Yeah, even though he's uncle to a lot of people on this team, Uncle Larry, yeah, he wasn't there then. He's been pretty quiet today. He had the first catch of the game, but really haven't been able to get him involved. Haven't been able to get anybody involved. Josh Rosen's just under so much duress and pressure today. With all these dropbacks, he's just line of fire.
He's been sacked 5 times. Not this time, although there is a flag. It's a hold against the Cardinals.
Holding, offense number 79. 10-yard penalty, play first down.
Big Corey Cunningham in the hold here, and there's again these Cardinals teams wanting to drop back so much that these Falcons defenders, I mean, they're in track stance, getting out there. Vic Beasley, Tack McKinley, they have no intention of playing the run at all here these past couple of series they've been out here. So they get in that wide 9 techniques. Look how wide outside the tackles they are. They're just firing off the football, trying to get to the quarterback.
Sack number 6.
It's just not a chance, right? It's just these guys. These tackles have no chance. These guys are so wide, and they're just sprinting to the quarterback. And if the ball doesn't come out, he's going to get sacked. And this is almost a stat padding day for these Falcons defenders right now. 6 sacks of Josh Rosen, and second one for Vic Beasley, who I think by all indications has not had the season that he would want to have had this season. He had a down year last year after that record career year he had 2 years ago, but he's getting right today. He makes another great play by Vic Beasley there.
He's also deflected 2 passes. One was intercepted by Deion Jones, returned for the first Atlanta touchdown.
This is what you love about him. He's undersized, yes, but he's quick and he's elusive when he's running through the line of scrimmage. This is a great play. It's David Johnson around the legs, nowhere to run. He's had himself a fantastic day. We talked about Brian Poole the day that he had out at playing that nickel corner, but Vic Beasley's probably been even a little bit more impactful.
Poole, bottom of your screen, matched up with Fitzgerald. 3rd down and 21. We'll keep it on the ground with Johnson. They don't even attempt to pass to pick up a first down. And the Cardinals once again will punt it away. Johnson scored the first touchdown of this game. He's got over 100 yards total, rushing and receiving, but his Cardinals trail by 33.
And 40 of those yards were on that one play on that first drive on the pass. So, you know, it got off to a little bit of a good start for Arizona, but since then it's been nothing to give.
Marvin Hall back deep. Penalty marker is thrown. Ball brought down at the 33-yard line, but once again we'll check with the referee, Sean Smith.
during the kick, holding. Receiving team, number 83, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Atlanta keeps the ball, first down.
That's on Russell Gage once again. Grabbed hold of Rudy Ford.
Tough day for the youngster.
Back in Atlanta, Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Sarah Walsh, just under 9 minutes to go. Fourth quarter, with the Falcons leading the Cardinals 40-7. Matt Ryan with 2 touchdown passes, also ran for 1. Devin Coleman, 144 yards on the ground. This is Coleman, and he's brought down back behind the line of scrimmage by Gerald Hodges. Coleman with nearly as many yards as the entire Cardinals team.
That's ridiculous. Wow. And credit to Devin Coleman. He's had some great runs, some explosive runs. The offensive line, I think, has done a fantastic job today, but Arizona's did nothing. I mean, the second half, I think they've been all 3 and outs. I don't know if they sustained a drive, maybe 1 first down on the drive prior to the last one, but been futility on that side of the ball for the Cardinals. And
Ryan slips as he hands the ball off. Take it out to the 14-yard line. Corey Peters made the tackle. This January, Fox brings you the biggest television event of the new year from executive producer Riley Scott, starring Mark Paul Gosselaar, based on the best-selling trilogy The Passage. Premieres Monday, January 14th on Fox. Well, the Atlanta Falcons, after falling behind 7-0, turned things around with that interception return for a touchdown and have not looked back. They will end the 5-game losing streak. We're down at 9 as Ryan fires, intended for Russell Gage, and that was broken up by Brandon Williams, so the Falcons will punt it away.
There's one benefit of a game like this is you get some young players an opportunity to play. Brandon Williams out here at cornerback came in the game earlier when David Amerson went out with got evaluated for a concussion. He's had some nice plays on the ball. I mean, he's not a guy that's had a bunch of snaps at corner, but get some film for him to watch. Steve Wilkes can pay attention to him, maybe get him some more reps as the season goes on.
Bosher waiting inside his 1-yard line, punts it from the 5. Peterson calls for the fair catch at the 36-yard line. Midway through the fourth quarter in Atlanta. Well, Josh Rosen now has the baseball cap on the Cardinals sidelines as he'll be replaced by Mike Glennon. Rosen 13 of 22, 2 picks, and he was sacked 6 times.
Oh, give him a slow clap here because it wasn't all his fault. He took a beating today. The offensive line did him no favors. Couldn't get a running game going at all. And he's just talking about developing your quarterback, your young quarterback. I don't know if he got any kind of development here. Maybe just having felt that stress, that there's an importance in there, knowing how to deal with these kind of games, because I got to tell you what, I couldn't think of a tougher outing for a young quarterback to have to deal with that many times getting hit in the pocket.
Glennon's first pass was caught by Sherfield, and now his second is caught by Fitzgerald. And he lowered the shoulder and made contact with KZ and then gave him a pat at the end of the play. Gains 26.
Well, the one thing Mike Glennon is going to give you, he's been in this league a long time. Been in Tampa, he was in Chicago, he's got some meaningful starts under his belt. He's going to get rid of the football. He knows not to take these type of hits, and he'll make quick decisions.
Now Glennon fires downfield, intended for the tight end, rookie Seals Jones.
I want to watch Larry finish this last play one more time. This is a 15-year vet. Larry's not young, but he is still got that competitive fire in him. And I got to tell you what, there's nothing like this. You see a veteran player in a game that means nothing. You're losing by 33 points to go out and trying to finish that little run. That's awesome. That's awesome to see.
Now 2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line, and this play is blown dead.
False start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. Second out.
So I asked you about defending Julio Jones. How about defending Larry Fitzgerald?
Yeah, he was a little bit different, you know, and Larry, when I was playing, was still considered an X. He was outside all the time, and the size disadvantage was crazy because you know how freakish of a catcher of the football he can be. But since then, he's really turned into the Z, the guy that will move up and down the line of scrimmage, getting close, be a blocker or whatnot, and add in that regards. But yeah, he's tough. He was tough too.
Glennon sacked on 2nd and 15. Ray Jarrett, along with Vic Beasley, 7th sack for the Atlanta D. Joe Barksdale shaken up. We check in with Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. So Vikings already up 34-17 against the Dolphins when Kirk Cousins hands it off to Dalvin Cook, who takes it in for 21 yards. His second touchdown of the day. Vikings, of course, the 6th seed in the NFC. They're up big in this one, 41-17. Kenny, Rhonda, and Sarah.
All right, thanks very much, Carissa. So the Vikings on their way to their 7th victory as Barksdale exits.
And he got hit in the back of the head at the end of this play. Is not even sure who did it, but went straight down to the ground. And that offensive line that's been beat up so much is getting another player in there.
Will Holden in for Barksdale. 3rd down and 23. Glennon over the middle. It's complete to Edmonds. Edmonds brought down at the 33-yard line.
Edmonds is exciting. Get the ball in his hands, man. He can make people miss. He just broke a tackle of Desmond Trufant. One of his legs just bounced right off of him. He's not a big guy, man, but does a lot of good things.
4th down and 10. Glennon to Fitzgerald. He makes the catch on 4th down for an Arizona Cardinals first.
Well, this is amazing that Mike Glennon can come here and find this trust here because he throws this ball before Larry Fitzgerald is even out of his break. And it's something that Josh Rosen can learn. You know you got a sure-handed receiver in Larry Fitzgerald. Just put him in a position where he can catch it. He'll do the work for you.
That pass deflects away from Sherfield.
And this should have been a catch. This is a really good throw. He got a great release. The safety's late getting over the top, and two hands, young man. Go up and get this thing. Make that catch.
So Glennon now 4 of 6. It's his first action as a Cardinal. Has started 22 NFL games. 18 for the Tampa Bay Bucks, 4 for the Bears last year. Penalty flag. Catch is made by Ricky Seals-Jones, but we will check on the marker.
And Vic Beasley's trying to get himself another sack, trying to have his 3-sack day. That's the 2nd time in this drive that he's been offsides.
Steve Wilkes says we'll decline the penalty.
Offside. Defense, number 44. Penalties declined. Result of the play. 2nd down.
Yeah, he's had a great day, though. Really good day. Started with that deflected pass that ended up for interception for a touchdown for Deion Jones. He's had some pressures on the quarterback. Play fast. Yeah, it's the one thing you do see out of this Falcons team, even through their losing streak. Guys didn't just mail it in. The disappointment is on all of their faces about the outcome of the season. There's no quit in them. I agree with Dan Quinn and his assessment there. The fight has been there. It's just the execution and in his words, the focus has been lacking, and it's why this team only has 4 wins on the season.
Terrific all-around day for the Falcons. Edmonds picked up the 1st down. On the toss, it's Edmonds. And a nice play made. Brian Poole yet again. And what a game he's had.
Oh, he's just a nickel. He's not a corner at all in this defense. But watch him shed the block of Holden and going and make a nice tackle. Puts his head to the side, wraps up, comes up with a body part. I love that. Did it for a long time. I know what it's like to play in that position. You got to deal with some big people out in space. And Brian Poole is doing it as well as anybody today.
He had a sack, a fumble recovery, an interception. Glennon's pass is caught at the 7-yard line by T.J. Logan. This is the second trip into the red zone for Arizona. You have to go all the way back to their first possession of the game when Johnson scored the touchdown. 11 drives in between. Never got there.
Yeah, 11 drives in between, 11 punts.
Turnovers, punts.
Yep, turnovers, yeah, not 11 punts, 11 giveaways, right? Give the ball back to Atlanta, who soundly took advantage of all those opportunities with the football, put up 40 points today.
Well, 7 punts, 3 turnovers, and the half ended on one of their other possessions. 3rd and goal. Got into the end zone. He was looking for Ricky Seals-Jones.
Here's Ricky. He just tries to force this in. Coverage is good. Duke Riley is great position. First drive of the game.
69 yards and a touchdown.
Since.
That's what happened since.
That's not pretty.
7 sacks for this Falcons defense. 3 Arizona turnovers. Glennon end zone touchdown. Wide open Trent Sherfield. And that is his first NFL score.
Well, this has got to be a little bit of a miscommunication. Congratulations on the score, but you're going to watch these two guys come to the flat on this route right here, and nobody stays with Sherfield. Can't get any more wide open than that, right, Kenny? I think we could all make that throw, but really good drive by Mike Glennon here, leading them down. I know it's at the end of the game, but showed some things there. Got the ball out of his hands quickly, targeted Larry Fitzgerald, made some nice catch, and then Sherfield gets his touchdown.
So he's only 114 receiving touchdowns behind Larry.
Got to start somewhere, Kenny.
Although Fitz thought he should have had one more going up against you. He said he took the wrong angle and ran out of bounds. The game back in 2007.
I love it.
Well, let's take a look back at the playoff teams from a season ago. What a difference the year makes.
Yeah, this is a cool graphic. Put this together and you look at all these are the ones that you know, right? And then look who's out. Jacksonville, Saxonville's no good. Philly, the Super Bowl champions, are gone. Carolina's on a tailspin. Atlanta as well. So it's anybody's ball game. It's been a great year in the NFL if you like parity. You know, you talk about the dominant teams. There hasn't really been any dominant teams outside of LA, Kansas City, and the team that nobody's talking about, they're Los Angeles Chargers and New Orleans Saints. You know, those are the four teams that really are leading the pack. Everybody else is muddled together.
Well, coming into this weekend, 26 of the 32 teams still alive in playoff contention.
I don't think I've ever heard that this late in the season. 2 weeks to go after this weekend, and that many teams still having a chance. It'll make it for an interesting next couple of Saturdays and Sundays in the NFL.
Don't forget Mondays.
And Mondays.
Hardy on the return for the Falcons. Here comes Matt Schaub on a relief of Matt Ryan. So Ryan finishes 22 of 36, 231 yards, 2 touchdown passes, 1 TD run.
Yeah, he was inefficient. He had a nice day today. Obviously, he was greatly benefited. We came in the game saying that about this offense. He's benefited when they have a rushing offense, and it showed up today for Matt Ryan. 230 yards may not scream at you. 2 touchdowns don't seem spectacular, but he did everything right today.
He sure did. So Schaub, the 2-time Pro Bowler, who started his career in Atlanta, then spent 7 seasons in Houston. He is on in relief of Ryan. Hands it off to Brian Hill. Now, Matt Ryan, clean game today. No interceptions, and we hate to do this to Matt, but we take you back to 2012, the 47th and final interception of your illustrious career came off Matt Ryan.
He talks about that play with me all the time. He's like, I was running a crossing route from the other side of the field. You're playing in a drop zone away from the play, and you come in and steal that ball from Julio. How'd you do that, man? So we joke about it all the time, but Matt's one of the good ones. I love playing against him. He's a competitor. I wish nothing but great things for him because he's such a good guy. Been to the Super Bowl. Wished that he would have gotten there at that time, but he's one of the good ones.
You got him 3 times. 3 of your 47 career interceptions came against Matt Ryan. And check this out. When I read this week, this is incredible. Most passing yards, first 11 seasons.
Yes.
Matt Ryan at the top of the list.
So you take a shot at him, and then you got to pat him on the back.
Absolutely.
That's great producing right there.
There's Matt. His Falcons lead by 26 as we hit the 2-minute warning. Back in Atlanta, one more note, Rondé, on Matt Ryan with his 2 touchdown passes. That's 290 in his career. He ties the great Johnny Unitas, 14th place all time.
Wow. Congrats there.
I mean, we have to continue to give him props after we showed your interception.
You just put him on blast on national TV on a game from 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
State Farm postgame is coming up. It's week 15 in the National Football League, and a great job by our entire crew here in Atlanta. Our producer Barry Landis, director Jeremy Green, associate director Joe Williams, broadcast associate Jonathan Biles, our technical producer Ronnie McGuggins, technical director Damon McGavick, our statisticians Dave Corris and Ricky Camps, our spotter Ben Bulma, stage manager, always does a terrific job here in Atlanta, Karen Blackman.
Thanks, Karen.
Karen keeping a close eye on all the former Clemson Tigers in this game.
Yes.
Punt taken by Peterson at the 25, out of bounds. So the Cardinals offense back out with quarterback Mike Glennon. 1:07 remaining. Arizona will drop to 3-11. They will host the Rams next week, finish up in Seattle. Final 2 regular season games for Steve Wilkes and the Cards. Atlanta is their home finale. On the road at Carolina, at Tampa to finish out the 2018 season. Falcons with over 200 yards on the ground today. A defensive touchdown, 7 sacks of Josh Rosen and Mike Glennon. Glennon's pass is caught, taken for a first down and more by TJ Logan out to midfield. So quarterback from NC State connecting with the back from University of North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. He's a speedy little guy, and he's mostly been a returner for this team, special teams kind of guy, but has some juice in his game.
Glennon to the outside. Fitzgerald. His 7th reception today.
Larry still got it, dancing around. I can't imagine a Cardinals football team without Larry Fitzgerald. It's been such a constant for so long here. Just give him surface, give him the ball. Mike Glennon's done a pretty good job these last 2 drives getting him involved.
Well, he fires downfield. That one intended for Ricky Seals-Jones.
He almost made a fantastic catch over Foyer here. Straight through the midst, though. Little piggyback ride.
Foyer Oluwakin, the 6th-round pick out of Yale, who's had a nice rookie season.
What a good story he's been for this Falcons football team. And talk to Dan Quinn, defensive coaches. They say this guy is going to be a good football player for us going forward. And love it when an unsuspecting guy turns into that so early in his career. To already know that.
Catch made by Logan as the clock winds down. And the Falcons win it 40-14. Atlanta scoring a season-high 40 points. Cardinals allowing 40 for the 3rd time. For Rondé Barber and Sarah Walsh, this is Kenny Albert. State Farm postgame is coming up next.